What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. And up next, man, I got some fire for you guys. I promise if you hang with us, we're going to deal with a real issue. We're going to have some real conversation. And we're going to close up with a PSA. Do me a quick favor, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's go. So, as I announced in the last video about Malik Harrison, um, life sometimes intersects football. And as a Ravens fan, as a football fan, there's guys we kind of root for. There's guys we support, and Lamar Jackson happens to be that guy for me. I've kind of been rocking with Lamar Jackson since Louisville. Didn't know much about him before he got there, but definitely when he jumped on the scene in Louisville, he was a guy I could get behind. He's a principled guy, a guy of standard, and a guy who sticks to his guns. And so in the most recent days, specifically this week, uh, some statements have been made about Lamar Jackson tweeting support for wide receiver or former wide receiver NFL player Travis Rudolph as it pertains to his current ongoing murder trial, where Travis Rudolph is being charged with the first-degree murder and then 3 counts of attempted murder. So some pretty serious charges and allegations. And so Lamar Jackson tweeted out some support, asking for prayers for his acquittal. And then I think I saw another article that spoke about Lamar Jackson says set Travis Rudolph free. And so on surface, when you hear that, you begin to wonder, like, what's the connection? How does Lamar Jackson know Travis Rudolph, and why is Lamar Jackson supporting Travis Rudolph? Are they family? Are they friends? Are they acquaintances? And so, based on everything that I've read and heard and researched out, they have crossed paths in the context of sports, becoming acquainted in South Florida football, played against each other in high school, and then also played against each other in college as Lamar Jackson played for Louisville and Travis Rudolph played wide receiver for the Florida State Seminoles, both in the ACC. And so that's as far as I can recognize that their acquaintanceship intersects. Okay. Now, if you guys know a little more about how they're acquainted, by all means, let me know. But the part of the reason why I'm doing this video, and I'm going to put some things in this video that are going to be super important, but like I said, have a measure of controversy, is because I know how the media works, right? I don't know the intricacies of media, but Lamar Jackson sometimes is a polarizing figure. And sometimes the media can catch on to a subject or a topic and kind of go with it and put their own spin on it. And so my goal is to put out a message about why Lamar Jackson is in support of Travis Rudolph. Um, not in support of murder. He's not in support of crime. He's in support of the person. And so we're gonna, take a deep dive and look into some things and kind of get an understanding for what Lamar Jackson sees and hears. Although we can't hear the same things to an exact, but we can certainly have access to some information that he has access to that would kind of allow him to be in support of a Travis Rudolph acquittal. We understand that Lamar Jackson is from South Florida, and so is Travis Rudolph. And so, I'm sure he goes and lives in South Florida, Miami area, in the off season. And so he's going to have, again, what I call a street level access to information and insight that we often won't have. But so I want to do my due diligence with communicating this message. Okay. Anytime somebody comes out in support of something or someone, I have 3 questions: who, what, and why. The who is, who are you supporting? What's the caliber of this person? What's the character of this person? What are you supporting them on? What is this about? And then why? Why this topic? Why is it this hill that we choose to die on? Okay. And so we're going to kind of take a look into the Travis Rudolph case and kind of get into what Lamar Jackson could have been recognizing, could have been seeing. You know, again, not a full access to the information, but just kind of what we could dig up. So Travis Rudolph played at Florida State and got drafted, I think, in the 2020 draft, maybe 2019, but he got drafted. I think he played for the New York Giants. I remember Travis Rudolph from college, pretty good wide receiver, made it to the NFL. And and at the time of this incident, I don't think he was on a team. The time of this shooting, he wasn't on a team necessarily, but kind of some nuggets from the case based on testimony that I've heard, articles that I've read. Travis Rudolph was dating a lady by the name of Dominic Jones, and they had got into an argument, a disagreement, whatever you want to call it, because of Rudolph's infidelity. The storyline goes that she read some text messages on his phone to another lady. An argument ensued. There was some physicality. There is no testimony that he ever hit her or did any kind of violence to her. But as a result of this argument, this disagreement, this physicality, I don't know if it was some pushing and shoving or just, trying to, keep her away from him. I don't know the situation. I'm not implicating anybody. I'm not saying what's true and what's false. I'm just telling you what I've read. Okay. Anyway, so Miss Jones proceeds to call her brothers or her brother and tells him that Travis put his hands on her, come shoot his S up. S meaning SHIT. Okay. So the initiator in these acts of violence sounds like it's Miss Jones thus far. So the brother and two of his guys, they show up. You know what I'm saying? They gooned out a little bit. They show up at Travis's house, looking for Travis, knocking on the door. And then an altercation ensues when Travis comes to the door. Okay. And everything I'm telling you, I'm actually going to show you. So this video will be clipped up a little bit. So anyway, so initially, that's what we can understand is that it was kind of a domestic dispute that became aggressive, and the victims, meaning the guys who were shot, they show up at this man's house, Travis Rudolph's house, and then a bad situation turns worse. And so just based on that information alone, you would have to wonder, how could Lamar Jackson get behind that? I'm not implying that the guy is innocent or guilty. I'm just saying, like, that's not enough information to get behind. Well, I'm glad that we have some additional footage. So if you'll just hang with me for a moment, I'm gonna share a video clip that's gonna give us some insight, and this will kind of shed some light on what Lamar Jackson would have had insight on, and why he would be talking about praying for an acquittal, and also set Travis Rudolph free. But let me say something. The importance of this video and gaining understanding as the Baltimore Ravens fan base is because sometimes when you're in the spotlight, okay, there are people out there, whether it's media, national, local media, who can try to get a come up on your name. And this is just the type of situation that somebody fresh into the business could try to make their brand on, try to make their name on. And that could be throwing dirt on Lamar. Why would he be supporting an accused murderer? How could Lamar Jackson get behind that? You know what I'm saying? Some people could try to even go as far as is Lamar Jackson involved. See, because stuff gets real messy, right? And so my goal is to kind of give you guys access, give us access to um what Lamar is principled on, what Lamar is standing on, and why he would be behind Travis Jones. So just hang with me. Let me get this queued up and we'll check out this video. So first thing I want to do before we check out the video is just let you know that this video contains some graphic or violent content. So if you can't handle that kind of content, by all means, fast forward through this part of the video. But I wanted to show you guys what was going on that night in particular, so we can have an understanding of what Lamar Jackson is praying for an acquittal and supporting Travis Rudolph to be set free. So let's check it out.
911, what's your emergency?
I just heard a ton of shots behind me. I just heard shots fired.
It sounded like 10 gunshots.
It's the guy out here saying that he's just been shot.
April 7th, 2021. 911 calls for help flood into dispatch around midnight.
So right off, we hear 4 calls come through reporting multiple gunfire. Some people reporting as many as 10 gunshots on that 911 call. And of course, the date is April 7th of 2021. So we're talking about almost 2 years ago now. So let's hear Travis Rudolph speak to the incident firsthand.
Escalated so quickly.
For the first time, Travis Rudolph talks about the night he says 4 men showed up at his front door.
I just heard a loud bang, as if like the police was at the door.
In exclusive video, we can now see everything playing out on security cameras.
This all happened within seconds, so my brother was the first one to get to the door, so I was worried about his safety as well.
Where Travis at? Travis at?
According to court records, Rudolph and his then-girlfriend, Dominique Jones, got into a fight earlier that night.
Open this door, bro, because this got me. Dominique, stop.
Who are you calling a bro?
Afterwards, she texted her brother, Keyshawn Jones. Evidence shows they both made threats towards Rudolph.
So what we see is that we have a domestic disturbance. Doesn't look like it was super physical or anything like that, but definitely aggressive for sure. And in some other articles and reports that I read, she does admit to slapping him and things of that nature, but she does acknowledge that he did not physically harm her in any kind of way. So as we hear in this report, she makes a phone call via text, rather, to her brother and tells him to come over here and shoot up Travis Rudolph's house or his car or him. You know, we don't know, but the quote is "come shoot up his shit." So let's listen a little more.
As soon as I came outside, literally, Tyler, he sucker punched me to my left eye. It was Tyler and Sebastian. It was like kind of trying to corner me in. And Tyler, he had pulled out his firearm. And during that time, Tyler pulled out his firearm. Sebastian was like, "You messed with the wrong girl. You're going to die tonight." And then that's when I went back inside and grabbed my firearm.
The fight spilling out into the street. The video shows Rudolph then running off his property with an AR-15.
I had to do what I had to do, you know what I'm saying, to protect me and my family. My brother was on the ground getting jumped by 2 of those guys, getting kicked. So that's the reason why I went down the street. While they're all in their car, I see 2 firearms pointing at me and my brother. And I couldn't believe it. And it's just a split decision where I just felt like it's either me or my brother or these guys that's, you know what I'm saying, gonna get hurt.
Rudolph firing 39 rounds, the 4 men speeding off.
So the 39 rounds is important, which is probably why he was charged. And so was that excessive? Maybe. But when you find a semi-automatic rifle and all these events are happening, unfolding, guns and people getting punched and people getting assaulted, emotions and emotions are really high. And so we don't make the best decisions in these tough and difficult situations. I'm not giving him a pass for the 39 shots, but we still have a situation where three dudes armed show up at his house, uninvited, of course, looking for trouble. And so bad situation after bad situation after bad situation continue to unfold. So let's listen to Travis speak on the 39 shots.
I know people at home are going to question, okay, he has an AR-15 and he fired 39 times. What's your explanation for that?
I can't even count how many times I shot, to be honest with you. I got fast reflexes. You know, I play football. And on top of that, I mean, I felt like I had to keep shooting until the threat is no longer a threat anymore.
Did you realize you had shot somebody when that all happened?
No, I honestly didn't know I shot anyone. And my heart sunk. I was just trying to get them away from me and my brother, from killing us, really.
Sebastian Jean Jacques was shot and killed. Tyler Robinson was also shot but survived. Keyshawn Jones and Christopher Lowe were not hurt.
So I apologize. It was actually four guys show up at his house looking for trouble. So even if you're just looking for a fight, the numbers are still 4-on-2. So the guys who are uninvited coming there to do damage, so to speak, definitely still have these guys outnumbered.
Did you do anything differently?
It was a matter of life or death at that moment that I had shot. And I'll do the exact same thing if it came down to it.
So I appreciate his candor. I appreciate his openness. I appreciate him, that being Travis Rudolph, speaking on his own behalf, speaking on the incident that night. Because here's a real truth. The trial at this point hadn't even started when he did this interview. And anything he says could have and probably will be used against him in his court trial. And so I do appreciate him getting out ahead of this thing and kind of shedding some light on the events that night. And I thought that the interviewer did a good job of putting together the footage and things of that nature. So this is just a kind of idea of what Lamar Jackson would have had access to when he would have made a decision to support Travis Rudolph, as he is an accused murderer. So I just want to show you guys this, man, get you guys' thoughts, kind of clue you in on what the situation entailed. So now that we have kind of an idea of what was going on that night in question, we have a little peek into the window of what Lamar Jackson is standing up for. This appears to be a case of self-defense. That's what I'm going to deduce from what I've read in several articles, from what I saw in this video clip, and what I hear from Travis Rudolph's testimony. Well, Boulanger, you don't have all the information. I know I don't have it all. Nobody has it all. The only people that have all the information is the three guys who came over to Travis's house that night, the Dominique Jones, the girl who called for a hit, so to speak, Travis and Travis's brother. Those are the only people who have all the information. Well, how can you say it self-defense? Well, I'm very familiar with court stuff. I'm very familiar with researching. I'm very familiar with talking to detectives and getting information and sitting in a trial for over a week, hearing testimony. You see, because murder came to visit my family about 15 years ago with my mom. You see, when my mom was murdered, I had to learn how to do my own research. I had to learn how to talk to detectives. I had to learn what terms mean. I had to learn what kind of information would be put on trial. So before I made this video, I wanted to lean on what I already had experienced, so that when I spoke to the issue, I could speak with some experience and some knowledge. Okay. And so this trial appears to be a case of self-defense. And see, Florida has a stand your ground law, which should have been enacted in this particular situation, where these guys show up at this man's house. He should have had a right to stand his ground, because we heard that stand your ground term in the Trayvon Martin situation. And that was not even about somebody showing up at somebody else's property. Okay. But nevertheless, uh, somebody lost their life. And that's the most important part. And Travis Rudolph may lose his life, meaning his freedom. You see, this was a situation where all things went wrong. Anything that could go wrong went wrong. See, I don't know if these guys came over really to shoot or kill Travis. I don't know if these guys came over to shoot up his house, shoot up his car, rob him. I don't know, but I know what happened was, based on what we could see and hear, is that they showed up at this man's house. And even when this man went in and got his gun, they were still fighting. And even when this man ran down the street, they didn't pull off. They didn't old school term, they didn't mash out. And so what that says is they came looking for trouble. So my first part of the PSA is this. Be careful what you go looking for, because you will find it. If you go looking for trouble, you will find trouble. And if you go to make peace, you'll find peace. So that's number one. Number two, and probably the most important thing I'm going to say is this. Be careful, young men, young women, young boys, young girls, old men, old women. Be careful who you link up with. You see, you got to begin to ask tough questions. Tough questions like, why are you here? Why are you interested in me? Do you get high? Oh, you do? What you get high on? Do you have an addiction? Do you steal? Do you lie? Do you manipulate? You got good credit? You ever been to prison? How many kids you got? Do you work? How long have you worked? So you got to begin to ask questions so you can gauge caliber of people. The caliber of a person is character. You see, too often, as a mental health clinician, I'm seeing too often where people are linking up and get into relationships and some things end bad. That was my mom's situation, linking up with a dude who married her, moved her away, and then killed her. So be careful who you link up with. See, if Travis had made a different decision 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know how long he had been dating Miss Jones, this night could have been avoided. He wouldn't be on trial, and Sebastian wouldn't be dead. See, if he makes a different decision. Oh, well, how could he have known? You can know by gauging character. That's how you can know. You see, when Dominique Jones made that text message reaching out to her brother to come over there and shoot up Travis Jones's stuff, okay? Her character was on full display. You see, but that didn't just happen. That kind of behavior, that kind of thinking didn't just happen. That's who she had been the whole time, before he met her and during the time he had met her. You see, I don't care if he had been cheating or whatever. I don't condone cheating. I don't care if he had been cheating. That's not behavior where somebody should be involved in something that loses their life. So what I'm saying is, gauge a person's character. You see, because situations like this shouldn't be happening. You see, if you make different decisions about who you connect with, the life you save could be your own. So listen, I know I got a little bit off football, but I wanted to know who Lamar Jackson was standing up for. I wanted to know who he was supporting. I wanted to know who he had been tweeting about. I wanted to know what the connection was. And so I had to go get it. And so I wanted to share it with you guys as well. So listen, man, let me know what you guys think, man, about the case. Let me know if you guys think it's cool for Lamar Jackson to be riding with Travis Rudolph as he is on trial for murder. Matter of fact, his trial should be coming to a conclusion between today and tomorrow. So we'll get a verdict coming up pretty soon. And the reason why I wanted to put this out there before the verdict of this case is because if Travis gets convicted, you can best believe there will be some people talking about Lamar Jackson. He was connected with the convicted killer. He was supporting a convicted killer. See, so I wanted to get out there and put the information out there and challenge you guys to go and um and see for yourself. You see, because the media is good at trying to character assassinate people, especially one Lamar Jackson. So um I'm gonna link an article that I read. If I can find it again, if you guys would like to read it, I'm gonna link that here too. So you guys can have all the information. Listen, I appreciate your time. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and we're out.